Hello everyone, this is part 5 of What If Naruto Was a Genius with Kyuubi Powers, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Naruto and his fiancée walked into the council room and it immediately went silent. Naruto walked up to the only empty seats in the room and sat down on it, filling them for the first time. Finally Danzo stood up. What are you doing here, I mean, boy? Instantly changing his choice of words when he saw the glare coming at him from the third and fifth. I see for once you have decided to hold your tongue, Danzo. Naruto said, his face expressionless. As most of you know, I'm the heir of the Namikaze household. Since my father, may he rest in peace, is unable to perform his duties as the clan head, I'm taking up the role with Miss Hyuga as my advisor. This is an outrage. Danzo yelled, this, boy, cannot be Namikaze heir. It is impossible. Naruto stood up, it is also impossible for Root to still exist. But does it? Silence. Thoughts were flying through almost everyone's minds. Root. Didn't Sandaime discontinue that program? Hiashi wondered. I thought I told him to end Root. Sarutobi mentally yelled. Does he know about that? No one knows that it still exists. Danzo thought, what are you getting at, boy? Naruto smiled, what if I told you, I had undeniable proof that Root exists? Danzo laughed, I'd say that would be the biggest lie I've heard in my life. Naruto smiled, really? Tell me Danzo, does the name, Sue, mean anything to you? No, it is just a name. Danzo lied, it did mean something to him, it was the name of one of the most rebellious students he had ever had. It was a miracle the boy was alive. The boy had a beating at least once a day for activities that Danzo would never allow in his program, namely playing games, smiling, and every once in a while crying. Really? Well, let's ask him, shall we? With a simple flare of Naruto's coat, a young boy came into view. His skin was a sickly pale color, and he looked like he hadn't had a meal in weeks. Chooser Akamaiki looked at the boy's showing rib cage and wondered if it was possible to survive being that thin. Danzo, in a rare show of emotion, paled. This is Sue, last name unknown. I personally retrieved him from the Root complex that should no longer exist. He shot a glare toward Danzo. Sue is beaten at least once a day for smiling an earnest smile. He is whipped for making up and playing games. This boy has not once seen the sun. If this boy were to look at a tree, he would see nothing but what it is according to science, the beauty of it completely lost on him. Well, why don't I let the boy speak for himself? Sue looked at Danzo, a fire of hatred in his eyes. That's the man. He killed my friends. He beat me. He destroyed my life. The boy began to breathe heavily. You made me lose my humanity. The boy began to cry, but tried to stop himself out of habit. Hinata took him up and hugged the boy, telling him it was okay to cry. Take him to our house, Naruto told Hinata. Naruto turned to look at the council. There is a saying, there is always someone who has it worse off than you. After my childhood I thought I was that someone, then I saw what this thing is doing to children. I knew my last name, these children don't even know what a last name is. I had hope of starting a family in the Uzumaki name, if these children even thought of hope they would be struck down. And the worst part is that it is being done in our name. Do you know what that means? That means that all of Konohagakure is responsible for this atrocity. I can see Kirigakure if they knew about this, I can see them saying, and they called us cruel for our methods. We teach them pain by having them kill each other, they wipe out humanity altogether. I can see a Wagakure, see what evil they hide behind the gates. We cannot let this evil continue. I see Kumogakure and Sunagakure, this is our ally. We cannot be affiliated with such cruelty. If you add all of this together, you have another great shinobi war, and Konoha on the losing side. Is that what we want? Do we want Konoha destroyed because of one man's disobedience? I'd rather I will not let this evil continue. I would disown Konoha and throw away my dream of being Hokage if this is the kind of man I would have to lead. The council was silent. This was a very serious matter. If Naruto was correct about this accusation, then Danzo's head would have a new home. If it was a false accusation, then Naruto would be shamed and most probably be put to death. Then Danzo spoke up. You have no proof against me. That kid could have been pulled off the street, and every word he said would have been a lie for a meal. If you plan to carry out your accusation, I suggest you find proof. Naruto smiled a foxy smile. I plan on doing just that, if the council will follow me. Naruto walked to the door. He was followed by Hiashi. Then by Chooser, Shikaku, and Inaki and the Hokages. Then Shibi Aburame and Chum Inuzuka followed. Danzo stood wondering what was the boy doing. Then something he had said came back to him. I personally retrieved him from the root complex. That could only mean one thing. He had to stop that boy. Naruto led the council members down a long hallway, when suddenly 2 Root Anbu agents appeared. You will go no further. One said. Tsunade walked up to them. Stand down. He has my permission to be here. I'm sorry Hokage-sama, but none of you are allowed to go any further. What? You will let us pass? I'm sorry Hokage-sama, but none of you are allowed to go any further. He said again. What? She reared her hand back ready to strike the man. Only to be stopped by Naruto. Calm down, Hokage-sama. Naruto said. He stepped in front of her, his back facing the Anbu. Allow me, he said. Before either could react, he punched both of them, straight in the jaw. Pinning kunai jutsu. The 2 Anbu suddenly found themselves stuck to the floor, pinned by a dozen kunai. This way, please, Naruto said as he continued to lead them. Finally, they came to a large room, with 3 chairs and a bookcase. Naruto walked over to the bookcase and started pushing it out of the way. Then they saw it. The council members stood at the top of a huge cylindrical room. Lass and gentlemen, I present to you, the root complex. Danzo hobbled down the hallway. He had to keep them away from that room. Hopefully, his root Anbu agents should have stooped them. He turned the corner and saw a sight that he had hoped he would never see. His 2 agents were pinned to the ground by dozens of kunai. Then he looked down the hallway into the room. The bookcase had been moved. Oh, no. He had to get out of there. He couldn't let them catch him. If they got his hands on him, he'd be executed. He turned to hobble out of there but then saw another sight he had hoped he would never see. In front of him stood Kyuubi. Naruto looked down at the chain that held the toddlers and broke it with a quick slash of his sword. Why are you doing that? One of the toddlers asked. Because I'm here to show you emotion. What's emotion? Naruto smiled at the boy. Emotion is being happy or sad, loving and hating, being angry or confused. But the rules say we can't be happy. Tsunade looked at the boy. Well, I'm the Hokage, and I'm changing the rules. Kyuubi dragged the very much in trouble Danzo down the hallway to the council members. He threw him at their feet. Here is the man responsible for this. What do you want to do with him? Execute him. Chooser said. Children should not be put through this kind of tea. I agree with my teammate. Shikaku said. Every hint of laziness gone upon seeing this injustice. I too agree with my teammate. Inaki said. I'd rather than watch this SC live another day. Chum said. Shibi too agreed. Logic may say that emotion would get in the way, but to annihilate it completely. That destroys one's humanity. If Danzo continues to live, then the Aburame will no longer be a clan of Konoha. And the Hyuga will join you. Hiashi said. The council turned to Naruto. I cannot let him live. Naruto said. I cannot be cage of a village that gives people like you life. So be it, Tsunade said. Danzo, at the soonest possible moment, you will be beheaded. Which one of you would like the honors? The council members looked at each other, wondering who would do it. I would, a new voice said. The council members turned to see who had spoken up. It was a thin boy with the same sickly pale skin as Sue. He wore black, had black hair, and had a brush and scroll in his hand. Danzo looked up at him. Sigh. Danzo asked. Yes, Danzo, I want to be the one to cut your head off. You ruined my chance to be human. I may never get that back, but if I can stop you from doing this to any other child, then it will be for the good of the village. Sounds good to me, Naruto said. The rest of the council quickly agreed. Tsunade turned to Sai. Whenever you are ready. Sai nodded and unrolled the scroll. He drew a sword with his ink brush. Ink sword jutsu. The sword jumped from the paper to his hands. Danzo began to squirm away, but was stopped by the bone breaker jutsu. Sai lifted the sword high above his head and brought it down. Naruto stared at the corpse. What a first day. Naruto came home to his fiancée and Sue, who had stopped crying, naturally, and when he saw Naruto he ran to thank him. He hugged Naruto's legs tightly. Thank you so much, Naruto-san. Thank you so very much. He began to cry with joy. It was the only thing I could do. I couldn't let Danzo use you, it just wouldn't be right. Just then Kyuubi walked in. Naruto, there are some people who want to see you. Naruto nodded. Hey Sue, I need to go talk to someone. Sue nodded and let go hesitantly. He went to the door to see Sai and many others of the root refugees. Sai bowed and the rest did also. Namekize-san, we wish thank you for your service to us and we wish to repay you. Is there anything we can do for you? Anything at all? Naruto stared at him, each now with a slight glint of emotion in their eyes. It was small, but it was there. Do not ask me what you would do, instead, ask yourselves. What is it that you want most in life? If it is emotion, search it out. If it is a family, make one. If it is to become the greatest Hokage, then get in line. Someone actually laughed. It was small but, like the emotion in their eyes, it was there. But if there is anything you want to do for me, take each other, and support each other in your goals, become something, make yourselves a force to be reckoned with. Have it so that if one of you is challenged, he has challenged all of you. Rise from the ashes of this catastrophe, and become something new. Naruto-san. Sue asked from inside the house. What are they doing here? I think they should answer that. Naruto said. Sai looked Naruto, then Sue. Finally, he looked at the congregation behind him. Finally, he picked up Sue, and placed him on his shoulders. Sue laughed, and Sai felt something in his heart when he heard it. We've come to pick up you, Sue. After all, the Phoenix clan has to stick together. Everyone that stood behind Sai couldn't agree more to his choice. And before Naruto's eyes, the Phoenix clan was born. The sun rose on the village of Konoha. It was a peaceful day, until the Hokage looked into her mirror. A black and orange blur was then witnessed to be running to the Namikaze mansion. Kyuubi, who never slept, answered the door. Hello, Kyuubi-sama. Konohamaru. Kyuubi sighed. For some reason, I'm not surprised that you would do something to Hokage-sama. Konohamaru looked down at his feet. You heard that, huh? Kid, everyone heard that. The kids woke up because of that. Okay, yeah, that's the reason why I'm here actually. Suddenly the sound of pavement cracking and wood shattering echoed from down the street. Konohamaru. Said boy paled. Kyuubi looked at him. Let me guess, you signed your name. Konohamaru gave a weak smile. Kyuubi looked down on him. You do know what will happen to Naruto if Tsunade found you here. Possible death. Quite possible death. Okay, I'll see if I can. More sounds of destruction erupted behind them. Where are you, Konohamaru? Kyuubi looked at the poor boy. Okay, look, there is a secret passage from here to the Hokage monument. I'll let you take that. Thank you, Kyuubi-sama. Konohamaru bowed to Kyuubi then ran inside. Naruto walked to the door, to see the Hokage, with a green face, black rings around her eyes, and the name, Konohamaru, written on her forehead. He nearly laughed directly in her face. Luckily, he stopped himself. Where is he? I'm going to guess, you mean Konohamaru, right? No idea. Shut up. Where is he? Which one would you like me to answer to first? Tsunade glared at him. I really don't know. He's your protege. You should be held responsible. Like I'd have the nerve to do that to you. If I had a death wish maybe. You got him started on this prank streak. He's not even my protege. Check the Hokage monument. Kyuubi said as he walked past them, but you didn't hear it from me. They blinked. Ah, thanks. Tsunade said. Oh, and Naruto were having another council meeting today, since most of our schedule was taken by the Danzo scandal. Gotcha. Naruto sighed. Oh, and Sai Phoenix will be there. So it's official. Yup. Cool. I'll be there. Hinata walked into the hallway, still in her nightgown. She yawned. What was that all about? I'm not really sure, but we have a council meeting today. Okay, I'll go eat before I get ready. Okay, I'll see you there. Yeah, I'll be there, Hinata said. Naruto and Hinata came back from the meeting, bored out of their ever-loving minds. I feel sorry for anyone who ever had to attend those meetings, Hinata complained. I know, during Tsunade's speech about Konoha's academy developments I could start to feel my brains melt. I would have thought they melted long ago, a voice said. The two whirled around to see a man in a black cloak with red clouds etched into it. Beside him stood a blue man in the same cloak. Naruto recognized him. Itachi. So, you are Naruto Namikaze, huh? Not much to look at. The blue man said. Shut up, kiss him. Itachi said. Kiss him, huh? I was wondering who in the Akatsuki had to be paired with the walking sushi roll. Itachi almost smiled. Kiss him almost ked him. You're going to S for that one, Namikaze. Naruto ignored him and began to look around. Hinata, can you find him? Hinata activated her Byakugan and searched the house for the nine tails. He in the basement. Itachi and Kisame looked slightly confused. Who were they talking about? Oh, well, not that it mattered. Anything less than the Hokage herself wouldn't stop them. Unfortunately, what ran into Kisame was more than a Hokage. Here comes the boom. Kyuubi cried as he launched himself into the Shark Man. Kisame went flying to the opposite wall, but before he could reach it he was met by Naruto's fist. Man, I've always wanted to say that. Itachi stood wide-eyed. Kyuubi. You're free. Kyuubi didn't look at him, but jumped over to the others, as free as a trusted servant. Itachi stared at him. Impressive, Naruto. You've found a way to let Kyuubi out. Well, genius is as genius does. Naruto said with a smirk. I completely agree with you, especially since I was one of those geniuses. Hinata stepped forward. Genius this. Shugo Haika Rokujuyan Sho. Itachi silently thanked his blood for giving him the Sharingan. Without it, he would have defiantly been impaled by the thousand upon thousands of chakra beams that came at him. Unfortunately, it does not have the 360-degree sight of the Byakugan. A Naruto shadow clone landed a kick to Itachi's head. Itik then, in one smooth movement, espered the clone with a hidden kunai. Unfortunately for him he had to turn his back again. Naruto acted immediately. Itachi turned just in time to see a Rasengan fly towards his head. He ducked, but not fast enough to save his ponytail. Hey, it took me forever to grow that. Well, it took me a second to cut it. Naruto smiled. Itachi growled, well, try this on for size. Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu. Instantly the black flames jumped from Itachi's mouth. Naruto quickly pulled out a scroll. Fuka Hoin. A thick smoke quickly enveloped the flames. Then the smoke receded back into the scroll and the kanji, seal, appeared and glowed a faint red. Sweet. That worked. I've got to meet this Jiraiya dude. Itachi growled again. Well, how about this? Tsukuyomi. Instantly Naruto and Itachi were sucked from their reality into a world of darkness. Naruto looked around. Nothing. Suddenly Itachi came into view. So, how's Sasuke been? He asked. Well, it's hard to say. Naruto began, but I believe that I'm reaching him. That's good. Itachi said. How are things in the Akatsuki? He shrugged. It could be worse. They could have paired me with this idiot named Toby. There was a brief, awkward silence as the two foes stood. So, how are we going to do this? Huh. Oh, right. Well, you could technically punch me out of the jutsu. But it's just a theory. Or I could tea you for 3 days, and hope your girlfriend lets me live. I think it'd be best if I punched you. Itachi nodded. Sounds good. He readied himself for the blow. Naruto gave him a very hard punch. Itachi flew backwards and hit the wall. He got up shakily. Blood ran down his lip. He really hated how that jutsu took up so much chakra. Naruto also got up, arm around his stomach, seemingly in pain. Now would be a good time to retreat. You have proven yourself, Naruto. Itachi turned and began to walk away. He stopped for a second. Do what you will with my partner. And then he disappeared. Kyuubi went to get Anbu while Naruto pinned the unconscious Kisame to the ground with the Bone Breaker jutsu. He then spent the next 6 minutes feigning pain. He then spent the next 6 minutes feigning mock strength as the Hokage questioned him on what happened. It's nothing, really. Nonsense, the Tsukuyomi is one of the most dangerous genjutsus in the world, and you expect me to believe you came out unscathed. Now you are going to stay in bed for a week. Do you understand? Naruto hung his head in defeat. Yes, Hokage-sama. Good, now I'm going to question Kisame. Hinata, Kyuubi, do you wish to join me? I'll stay here with Naruto. Hinata said, without even thinking twice. I'll go, you may need help opening that sushi roll. Kyuubi said. Hey, Q, send the memories. I want to see that. Naruto said as Hinata helped him up to his room. Will do, Kit. I won't tell you anything. The shark man said. A bicky shite, this guy was tough. Perfect. It was time to begin the tea. Suddenly a light turned on. Abiki grumbled and headed to the back room. There the Hokage stood, with Kyuubi. Tsunade looked at the interrogation specialist. How are things going? I've used all of my scare tactics, so I was going to start torturing him. Would you mind if I helped? Kyuubi asked. Sure. Why? I haven't had fish in years. Kyuubi said, sadistically. Man, that's freaky. Abiki mumbled. They entered the interrogation room with big, creepy grins on their faces. How many times do I have to tell you, I won, T-talk? That's fine. You don't have to talk, Kyuubi said, but you do have to squeal. Who are you? Kisame asked. You mean you don't know? Kyuubi looked shocked. Then he smiled and began to transform. I am your worst nightmare. Kisame was too stunned to comprehend what had just happened. But the next words did register. I'm hungry. And you look good enough to eat. Maybe it was living with Zetsu that taught to fear cannibals, or maybe living with immortals taught him to fear death. Or maybe even it was living and working with a crazed psychopath, who killed his entire family, that taught him to fear mass murders. Whatever it was, though, Kisame suddenly learned what fear really was. Naruto shivered at the memories that Kyuubi just sent him. That was one sadistic fox. Maybe that's why he made such good friends with Dad. Ouch. Naruto said in false pain as Hinata gave him a rather soothing end massage. Are you sure you'll be okay? Hinata asked her fiancé. I'll be fine. That Itachi is just a pushover. As soon as you punch him once, he runs. Hinata rolled her eyes. This guy was unbelievable. Yet, she loved him. So what are we going to do for the next week? Well, according to the Hokage's orders, I have to stay in bed. Then again, I never was one for following orders. On the other hand, she'd probably come back and tie me to the bed if I ever got caught. Then again, I have almost never been caught. But on the other. Stop it. Hinata nearly yelled, you are going to stay in bed. I will go get some groceries and train. Once Kyuubi gets back, he'll help me move the TV to your room. Okay. Naruto just smiled. You think of everything, don't you? It would seem so. Hinata sighed as she turned to go to her tasks. Yet another reason why I love you. Then Naruto curled up and went to sleep. ALRIGHT, alright. I'll talk. Kisame cried. Kyuubi belched. About time. I was about to ask for some tartar sauce. Please, no more, please. Kyuubi smirked, then looked to Abiki. The man had a scroll in front of him where he kept large needles of various sizes and contents. Beside was a pad of notebook paper. This Kyuubi was a gold mine of ideas. The light at the back of the room came on. And Kyuubi and Abiki both returned to the back room. The Hokage sat there. Will he talk? Oh, he'll talk, Abiki said, with the most frightening smile on his face. Tsunade was almost afraid to look into the room. She dared a glance, and immediately wished she hadn't. She saw the poor man, huddled in a corner, rocking back and forth, missing both arms. That in itself wasn't too bad. What was bad was that one of those arms was on a spit over a fire. She could only imagine what happened to the other arm. Kyuubi belched again. Oh, yeah, I forgot, sushi gives me gas. Well, do you want some? He offered a seaweed roll to Tsunade. She looked like she was going to puke. The week seemed to drag slowly on, especially for the perfectly fit Naruto. I'm telling you I'm fine now, let me do something. The Hokage said. 1 week Naruto. You're staying right there, Hinata said. Oh come on, asked Kyuubi, he knows how healthy I am. Don't drag me into this. The fox said. Come on, I'll do chores if I have to, just let me get out of bed. Hinata and a shadow clone of herself took some rope and tied it around him, so he was bound to the bed. This isn't fair. As soon as the week finished, they were called to the Hokage Tower. Team Fox entered in a very dramatic way. Naruto rode on the huge fox, Hinata appeared in the lilac blossom, and Kyuubi made his giant entrance, complete with suffocating intent. I thought I told you not to do that, Ajin. Tsunade grumbled. Sorry, couldn't help myself, Naruto said with a smirk. They didn't have to wait long before the other team came in. Naruto, who had been relaxing on the Six Tails back, nearly fell over onto the floor. There before them stood Team 7. There was silence for a brief moment. Then Naruto noticed something. Kakashi, I'm hurt, you've already found a replacement for me. Don't go too hard on him, Naruto, Sai said, he only wants what's best for his team. Naruto smiled, well, then I guess you're okay. Hey, Dobe, what's up with you having a team to yourself? Sasuke said in a friendly manner. Why team? Jealous? Naruto asked, jokingly. Hinata stepped in. Now, Naruto, don't insult Sasuke, he has a lot of stuff to worry about that you don't have to. Oh, all right, Naruto said as he suddenly lifted the girl of his dreams into his arms. But only because you said so. Sakura's eye teared, she longed for someone to do that to her. Hinata was so lucky to have a boyfriend as caring as Naruto. Suddenly the last thought struck her as odd. She would have never paired the words Naruto and caring in the same sentence. The Hokage coughed. Are you two going to accept this mission, or are you going to just stare into each other's eyes all day? Naruto pondered on the question. Well, staring into her eyes all day is something I gladly do any day of week. In fact, it would take a bag tied around my head to keep me from staring. Naruto. Oh. All right. Okay, you have a difficult mission this time. After interrogating the Kumo nins Naruto caught, we have found out that Iwa was going to ask Kumo for plans on our walls. This is very serious. If our wall are breached, it could be AM against Konoha. But because Iwa knows that we have found out due to them not returning, they may not try it and attempt something else. So what I want you to do is, she carefully picked her words, visit Iwa and see how things are going. So you want us to spy on them? Sasuke asked. No, this is more of a diplomatic mission. I want you to gain audience with the Tsuchikage and talk to him, as my representative. Ah, I see, you're sending your most powerful ninjas to him to hopefully scare him out of attacking us. Correct, and with your father's history with Iwa, and your likeness to him, it should greatly help. That and Kyuubi. See, I knew he was good for something. Kakashi said. Whatever, Kakashi. Oh, one more thing. Tsunade said. You'll be accompanied by my teammate. It is I, Jiraiya, Mountain Toad Sage. Everyone turned around to see a white-haired man sitting on a large toad. I am the great Sannin, and author of. Tsunade backfisted him, sending him flying to the other wall. If you ever mention the name of your stupid books within earshot of me, I will have you executed. He writes books? Naruto asked. Kakashi simply pulled out the copy of Ichika Paradise that he carried in his pouch and showed Naruto. Wow, my respect for him has just dropped like a rock. Tsunade let out a deep breath. Anyways, Jiraiya will accompany you for the negotiations. Any questions? Jiraiya, who had just picked himself off the floor, with much difficulty asked, yeah, what's my dental plan? He held out his hand and spat out a tooth. Any other questions? There were none. Okay, you leave tomorrow. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.